Good morning. Today is Thursday, July 17th, 2025. Jump date for Friday, 18th. All right, let's go. Well, okay, day in the portfolio overall. Thanks pretty much to KTOS. Go ahead and bump your stop on that. We'll take a look at all this in just 1 second. As far as official setups, let's stick with the TGen. I pulled the NAG off. And by the way, on that TGen, make sure you check the parameters. I did lower the entry on that. Just too many days of the pullback, and now beginning to break down in earnest. I might do okay longer term, but just it's no longer really fits the methodology. I really like this one too, especially a few days ago. I really thought it had potential, double top knockout, and had all kind of stuff working for it. But hey, no trigger, no trade, so we'll just move on and find the next one. Maybe TGen's next one. This is a deep retracement in an IPO, a first deep retracement, FDR, as I often call those. So in case you're wondering about the depth of the pullback, volatile stock, obviously. So make sure you wait for entries. Fewer setups tonight, and that's because the market's at new highs. There's going to be less and less setups as the market bangs out new highs. Let's take a look at the portfolio. And then we'll pop out to the overall market and drill down. Flatsville and BTM still looks pretty good longer term. Looks like it's just maybe pausing before it takes off again. KGC sideways at best as of late. Longer term still in a trend, but sideways are becoming more and more sideways. So of course, one or two big updates would really solve that. Speaking of updates, BAM winning. KTOS up 4.63 today. We'll go ahead and bump the stop on that. We're now in longer term trend following mode, obviously. TFPM off its worst levels, still down a little nonetheless. Still looks okay longer term. So far, just consolidating. But you know me, I'd sure like to see new highs sooner rather than later. VG kind of stabilizing, not a whole lot to write home about there. So forth, looks like a big picture bottom is in place with that one. Let's take a look at the overall market and drill down. First of all, S&P 500. P's ended up about 0.5%. That's enough to keep it at all-time highs. You know me as a trend guy, I'm not going to argue with that. As long as, let's just say, 6,100-ish holds, I think the market is just fine. Take a look at NASDAQ, bam, winning, closing at all-time highs. That's certainly a good thing. Decent day in the Rusty. You know me, I sure like to see it get through this overhead supply, but you also know the routine one day at a time. Cybersecurity bouncing off its recent breakout level. So far, so good there. It has lost some steam as of late. Robotics, decent day there, pushing through this overhead supply. It's robotics and AI, so a little bit more to get through, but so far so good there, improving as of late. Gold off its worst level, still down a little bit, sideways for quite some time in here. Maybe it's just consolidating its longer term gains, but you know me, I'd sure like to see new highs sooner rather than later. Just on your stops, just in case. Ditto for the gold stocks, a little sideways in here as of late. Defense, bam, winning all-time highs with a little bit of vigor. Let's take a look at broker-dealer. All-time highs there, too. Not a bad day at all. IBB, the biotech shares, up a little. They still have a lot of overhead supply to overcome, but as I'd say, quite a bit. I'm seeing quite a bit of momentum internally there. Software, decent day. It stalled at its prior peak, and now it's nearly to all-time high, so that's certainly a good thing. One more big up day would certainly make that look a heck of a lot better. Pot stocks continue to attempt to bottom out in here. That's why TLRY is still on the Landry list. Palladium, bam, look at that, accelerating new highs with a bit of vigor. Platinum also doing well in here. It too begging out some new highs. Metals and mining overall still doing pretty good. Obviously, gold has lagged a little as of late, and the other ones have begun to take off. But you can see XME begging out new highs with a little bit of vigor. Also, uranium still looks pretty good, right at brand new highs. Alternative energy such as solar and wind have been doing well as of late for the most part, but they still have a lot of overhead supply to overcome, so it's kind of hard for me to get too excited about those areas just yet. There's wind. You can see decent day there too, but it's going to have a lot of supply to get through on its way back up, but certainly definitely improving nonetheless. Cloud computing, decent day there, still has overhead supply he tried to say to get through. Semiconductors, not a bad day, and that's enough to keep them at all-time highs. I sure like to see him get past this prior peak decisively, but hey, so far so good for the most part. Financials, okay day there too, just not too far away from all-time highs, but again, when you're right around these prior peaks like this, I sure do like to see the market clear them decisively. Stop me if you heard that before. Anyway, I think that's it for tonight. Everybody have a fantastic night. If you have any questions, you know what I'm saying. Thank you so much.